So I woke up this morning around 3 something and I was a bit restless and I realized that I couldn't get back to sleep. So I decided to sit up and do some meditation. And through that process of doing my meditation and just trying to focus and center myself, um, I was experiencing a lot of spirit phenomena around me. And that's normal and everyday thing for me because I am someone that is naturally sensitive and can tap into frequencies and different energies. And I've been like this since I was a child, and it's something I've been able to do since I was a child. And sometimes these energies can quite possibly try to knock you out of focus so that you don't center within yourself. It just depends on what their agenda is. But that was pretty much irrelevant. I say all that to say the whole experience of the phenomena and different energies coming into my space within that time frame, especially with the veil being so thin between the hours of 3 to 5, 6 a.m. in the morning. The veil with the energetic realms are very thin. So a lot of spirit activity is much more heightened within those hours within that time frame. But through that process, I realized because I've been through experiences like this since I was a child, I realized that the process was helping me a bit to center myself even more because I'm someone that naturally challenges themselves. And when I experience things that are otherworldly, I've always doubled down in my own energy instead of retreating. But with that being said, it can feel uncomfortable at times when you are accessing all of these different arrays of energies, and they are purposely trying to sometimes distract you and whatnot. But through that meditation process, I did double down and I went deeper within myself, and I basically detached and disconnected from everything, disconnected from the concern of what phenomena was going on around me, and what I was accessing or what was surrounding me, or trying to disturb my field. And I really just went more within. And that process kind of ignited my energy in a sense where I came to this epiphany where I had realized that I was containing my energy and not allowing it to expand, that I was controlling um, controlling certain aspects of my life instead of allowing it to unfold, because it's going to unfold, period. But there was just parts of me, I felt that I was holding on energetically. I felt that my energy was being contained within my field where it wanted to expand. And the phenomena that I was experiencing helped me to see that, because with so many beings surrounding me and coming into my space and me doubling down on my energy, naturally, because of many experiences I've been through, I've always kept a safeguarded field to a certain degree. But my life is always expanding and I'm always growing. But I realized that in certain areas, I wasn't allowing that full expansion to take root. I was like holding on to my energy in certain areas and aspects of my life where I let go and allow my energy to expand in certain areas and facets of my life also. So within that moment, I kind of made this um, pact with myself when I synced it clearly. And I just released the cap that was on my energy field, and I let my energy just flow outward. And this was like all mental, and this was like a mental energetic thing as I was there sitting there meditating. And I felt this surge of energy just pour out of me in all directions and expanded outward into my space and beyond my space. And the epiphany hit root even more. And I realized that while I was holding all of that energy inside of me and being contained, and the energy that is naturally me that I'm vibrating that has expanded out of my current experience. So it was very profound for me to see that, because I realized that all of the situations that I've been in, whether it's been a job or relationships or friendships or any kind of dynamics that was no longer serving me, was all because I had expanded beyond it. My vibration and frequency keeps rising and keeps expanding, and naturally, I've been expanding out of particular scenarios within my life, and I've allowed that process to happen. Um, because it's once you it's going to happen regardless. We just kind of slow down the process at times. But I also saw that there was other facets of my life where I was containing my energy, and even like seeing that, that I've expanded out of this particular space that I'm living into, and some part of me didn't realize that. It's like I was holding on to a specific scenario in my life right now evolving around my living space. And for me to see that, my energy has already expanded outward beyond it. I'm already beyond it. So I saw like the old timeline that I left behind, the relationships, the jobs, the people, the places. All of it was because I was vibrating. I vibrated out of that field. I vibrated out of that energy, and that particular timeline and those relationships or those people and those places could not withstand the vibration that emanates within me now that I've expanded to. But then I realized, like, how many of us are staying in situations and relationships or friendships or dynamics or jobs or places that we've already expanded out of. Like, how many of us are putting a cap on our energetic field and not allowing our energy to expand outward or to flow freely in certain situations in our lives? Like, how many of us are open in many areas of our lives but closed off in some areas? And so this morning just taught me to really see that while I've been open and I'm open most of the time, there's just certain areas within my life that I've been closed off, and I've been containing my energy and containing that power. And really, it was me feeling the power of my expansion, and that power solidified me or anchored me and rooted me more in the stabilization and the frequency and the integration of my power. And I realized whatever fear that I was experiencing, because expansion involves change, right? When you expand out of situations, whatever it is, it's going to involve change. And I feel on a subconscious level, we know that to a large degree. So sometimes we don't even realize that we are unintentionally trying to slow down or delay the process of that expansion or that change, because we are sometimes comfortable in certain areas, or we have a we have a certain um we have a certain image in our head of what change may look like or what change may bring. And sometimes it's not even that, yes, change does bring uncertainty. Sometimes it does bring chaos. Sometimes it can bring a lot of a lot of things that may not be as pleasant before things settle, but sometimes it may not be that. It may not be that um earth-shattering consequence type of change sometimes, but it's like we delay and hold ourselves back because we are, really thinking or perceiving that it's going to be a specific kind of way. And then maybe sometimes we're intuitively feeling that what change is going to bring. And so we, unconsciously or subconsciously hold ourselves or delay it, because you can't hold yourself back from it. You just delay it and stagnate yourself, for a while. But and that stagnation brings misery, and that stagnation brings the identification with things that don't serve you. And so for me, I saw that I was putting a container on my energy in certain areas with still trying to um appease situations to a certain degree, like not allowing myself to encompass the full power of my expansion, still playing small to a certain degree because of a safety net for others, and as I was sitting there and recognizing that, and I realized like all of the work that I've put in within this lifetime of mine to grow, to evolve, to elevate, to expand, all of it, like I would be doing a dishonor and a disservice to myself if I did not, allow myself to really experience the full expansion of who I am, to really own and step into my power, And I told myself, I was like, if I'm too much, I'm too much to others. That's not my concern. All I can do is encompass the power and the energy that emanates from me, because I worked for it. I worked for the energy that I emanate. I work for the being that I've evolved into. I put a lot of work and dedication and devotion and discipline and diligence into the practice of my entire existence, and evolving and being devoted to this spiritual source aligned path, and so that was something that occurred for me this morning. And I just sat there in the fullness of my expansion. I sat there in the silence, in the dark, and I felt the fullness of my power and my expansion. And then really that was only a snippet of my power. But even that in itself, like me just sitting in it and settling into it and feeling how I've expanded beyond my current living space, and and just allowing that energy to be free and pour freely, not putting that, not, and I made a vow to myself not to place a container or a cap on myself, like, ever again. Like, I made a conscious choice, because these were things that I was doing unconsciously. I wasn't aware. So because I understand it and I felt it in the fullness of, how I felt it this morning, for me, it's absolute. Like, the decision has already been made. Everything has already been put into motion. That's something that I can no longer do. That's something that I will no longer do. Put a shrink my energy, or constrict my energy, for the safety of the world or for the safety of others. Like, for instance, it's a lot of people that may not resonate with my videos or resonate with the things that I speak about, because, you may not be in that level of awareness, or you may not want to be in that level of awareness, and that's fine. But it's like, I am who I am, and I have to own who I am and, you know, do the mission work that I came to do. So the things that I speak about, the things that I talk about is for certain people. It's not for everybody, it's only for certain people. And that was something too that I've had, to come to see as well. But yes, I'm not going to allow myself to shrink and this whole social media thing and everything is I have to be quite honest, it's new for me. I'm not the social media type, and I'm not someone, I mean, I live my life in a certain way and I orchestrate my life in a certain way, and I'm not someone that's also so ingrained in the, I guess, whatever comes with social media and just the identifications or like the likes, and I don't know how to like advertise myself too well. And these are things that I'm learning how to, because I'm really doing mission work, and I'm putting myself out there through my own divine guidance, because that's something I'm being guided to do, to reach people, to share and impart the wisdom and the teachings and the things that I know that I've experienced throughout my life that will assist others. So, but all of this, I guess the politics and the things that kind of comes with social media is not something that I'm savvy to, and it's not something that I will be savvy to. What you see is what you get. I'm not here to place filters on myself, or I'm not overly concerned with how I'm being perceived or what someone else thinks of me, or, and just things of that nature. So, and I'm just seeing that that's a lot of what goes on within the social media platform. And sometimes it can deter me a little bit, because I'm like, that's just not my energy. I'm somebody that I'd rather show up organically and authentically and just, and just present what the energy that flows through me, and from that divine space within me, and not be caught up in all of the essentials. And sometimes it's crazy, because sometimes it's just weird, because so many people are always focused on the wrong things. You don't look a certain type of way, or it's just weird. So to me anyway, but that's that. But I made this video to just share whatever anybody gets from it, you get from it. But I think this can apply to everyone, to maybe check in with ourselves and check in with our energy and see what areas of where we are placing that cap on ourselves, that container, or shrinking ourselves, or not allowing our full power to expand and grow, or even rather being afraid of your power. Because even, with the things that I go through and being able to tap into energies or see entities, or all of these things are not something that causes fear within me. It's an abnormality to a certain degree if you're not used to it, and then your body has to become accustomed to it, and everything like that. That's just a natural part of it. But for me, like, the big thing was saying that, the fear comes from you, like, recognizing your own power, or settling into your own power, because with that power comes a particular level of responsibility as well. You can't go back. You can't go back to being something that you were. You can't go back to playing in the 3D Matrix games. You can't go back to trying to be a victim. You can't claim victimhood. You can't. It's just a lot of things that you can't do. And I feel like subconsciously, if you're not ready, or if you haven't worked out certain mechanisms within yourself, sometimes we can also halt our progress as well, because it means stepping up to the plate and owning your power and knowing your power and being solidified and anchored in it. Definitely means stepping up to the plate. So I just wanted to share this video for anyone that may be going through something similar to that, and just check in with yourself. Own your power. Let it expand fully and spill outwardly into, you know, to wherever it chooses to go, because you're just going to keep expanding, and expansion is beautiful. Expansion is beautiful, and change is beautiful. Yes, it comes with a lot at times, but it's beautiful essentially because you land in a better position. You know, you land in a more fulfilled position. You know, more you encompass more of yourself each and every time when you choose that expansion. So that's that.